BMW, Mercedes Benz and Audi are like the three big German bullies in the premium saloon playground. And isn't it about time that things changed? Haven't they had their way for long enough? Well, the 2015 Jaguar XE is not only one of the most significant Jaguars in a long time, but it's arguably one of the most significant cars in a long time. Attempting to topple the 3 Series off of its throne, this is the XE. With handsome looks, a long sculpted bonnet, short rear overhangs and some beautiful detailing to its bodywork, it is absolutely a handsome machine. I defy anybody who thinks this car doesn't look very good. It gets so many passing glances and it fits its design remit perfectly. It's not too overstated, but it is absolutely a premium product. It looks fantastic. Continuing some of the F-Type styling actually, the bold rear shoulders and the sloping roofline of the car, it all gives it this very sporting look. And there's just something about a Jag, it has an air of sophistication about it, something that just makes it very different from any other car. This Jaguar XE that we're in here is the 2 litre 178 brake horsepower turbocharged diesel engine.
Jaguar reckons that'll net you around 67 mpg when you're on your best behaviour.
And it's a good engine. It's quiet, it's refined, there's hardly any vibration coming back through to the car. And it has a nice sort of surging motion to it as you get underway. Also has start-stop as we're seeing here, which also helps a little bit with the fuel saving. But both around town and on the motorway, the engine seems to have a beautiful breadth of talents. It's a new 4-cylinder unit that Jaguar have introduced in the XE, and it's actually making its way over to the Land Rover Discovery Sport. We road tested the standard version of that car with the 2.2 litre diesel, and hopefully we'll get the 2 litre very soon. But back to the Jag, and it really is a very, very impressive machine in just about every department. I'm sure you've read that the XE performs very, very well in many departments, so let's get my criticisms out of the way first. Rear visibility is not very good at all. It's quite a shallow sort of window because of the steeply raked windscreen. You really can't see very much out of it, so I'd advise the reversing camera. Also, there's not as much leg or headroom in the back as what you'll find on its rivals. Particularly headroom because of that sloping roofline. It can be a bit cramped back there. The boot is also a limiting factor. There's not quite as much space in there as, say, a BMW 3 Series. And that's it. That is about all the criticism this car gets, because it is absolutely fantastic. Where to start? Okay, how about how it drives? Its biggest rival, the BMW 3 Series, is praised for having absolute precision steering, crisp handling, and great efficiency to match. Well, tick on the efficiency, and I can say this car matches or betters the BMW 3 Series in terms of handling. The steering is so precise. It is like putting a laser pen on the road exactly where you want it. It's really progressive. The weighting is fantastic. Of course, because it's rear-wheel drive, there's no problem turning in. The nose dives straight towards the apex, and you put your foot down, and this diesel engine surges you along with the torque available. The Jaguar XE is an engaging machine to drive. It's a car that really pleases enthusiasts, and if you love the BMW 3 Series, then I reckon you're really going to like this. Body roll? Not very much at all. The suspension is really well sorted in this. Whilst with this car, this is actually the R Sport model, it does come with larger alloy wheels. There is the odd thump from a pothole. Smaller alloy wheels will help you there, but it's very well damped, so the bumps aren't intrusive into the cabin. They merely let you know that they're there. And the chassis is one of those that you sort of feel it through the seat of your pants. You know exactly what's going on beneath you. We took it on some country roads earlier today and it performed fantastically. It is an enjoyable car to drive. Just as the BMW is seen as a true driver's car, the XE has to be put up there on that pedestal as well. It is really, really well engineered. I mentioned that this is the R Sport model. That includes some sportier bumpers, some more aggressive grills on the side, and some rather snazzy 18-inch alloy wheels. Inside, the cabin of this car is beautiful, really well upholstered, top-notch quality here, really nice sculpted fascias to the dashboard. It's not all flat and bland like some other cars. It's very definitely not German. I think that's what I have to say about the interior. The whole sort of sill around here arcs around you. You feel encompassed. You actually sit quite low down in this car in comparison to competitors. And with this high console, it also gives it a sporting sort of stature within the cockpit. A beautiful three-pronged steering wheel also aids with how sporty the interior feels. These seats also very well bolstered, very supportive. They sort of strike a good balance between holding you firmly in place and allowing you to be comfortable on longer motorway journeys. Optioned on this car is this glass panoramic windscreen, which also slides backwards on nice sunny days. And as you may have seen in our Land Rover Discovery Sport review, this is JLR's new touchscreen navigation. It's super easy to use, it's nice and quick. It's exactly what you want from a sat-nav. Sometimes you get sort of menus inside menus. It's nice and clear, it works, it looks great. There's no real bad to be said about that. What about the car's gearbox then? It is an 8-speed ZF automatic gearbox, and just like you'll find in Land Rovers, I actually said this about the Discovery Sport and a number of BMWs, it's the very same gearbox. It works magnificently. You put it in auto, it knows exactly what it's doing. The gear changes are almost undetectable when you're just cruising along. If I actually put it into its sport setting here and use the paddles, this is me going up a gear and again and down 2 gears, and you just can't feel it. It's fantastic. The changes are so quick, and actually this car's so enjoyable to drive enthusiastically that I actually found myself putting it in the sports mode and quite happily using the paddles as if it was a car that was much more sporting than perhaps a saloon would lend itself to being. Speaking of sport, we do actually have a sport mode, so we can cycle through eco and the poor weather settings into sport, the dynamic setting here, and that will give me faster throttle response, faster gear changes, and it weights up the steering as well, and the car really feels at its best here. This mode also turns all of the dials red, and you really know the car is at its most alert. So let's talk pricing. The Jaguar XE starts from just under £30,000 with the entry-level petrol model. There are 2 diesels. The more powerful 178 brake horsepower model, which this is, starts at £32,000. These prices are generally competitive with the Germans, but just like those cars, you've got to watch the options list. It does start getting a bit pricey when you start plucking various toys for the car. Some of you might think I'm really anti BMW, Mercedes Benz or Audi, but I'm not. I love the 3 Series, the C-Class and the A4, but if you're considering those cars, I mean, give this one a go, because I mean, seriously, we're not talking this is in contention for class leadership. This car leads the class. It is that good. Don't believe me? Go and drive one for yourself. It is so supremely put together, and whilst it has its little foibles like less leg room than its competitors or less boot space, as a complete package, the car is not bettered by any one of the big 3, and this is unheard of. I mean, BMW's had domination of this market for what, a decade? And this Jag really acquits itself so well. It makes such a refreshing change from the German big 3 as well. I don't know what else to say. Go and drive one. Go and drive one. It's that good.